from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
What is happening, party people? I am on the road, back, doing my thing. But happy Monday, February 7th, 2022. We've got a packed show of things going on in the world of cybersecurity. A lot of things happening from the world of CISA to Microsoft, the FBI releasing TTPs, North Korea, and a huge update on what's going on with Pegasus. Huge. I mean, you do not want to go anywhere. So this is going to be an epic show. If you missed Friday, so Friday I had Joanna Huysman on. She's the VP of Analytics and Research over at Nova4. We're talking about cyber awareness and DevOps. Great podcast, 30 minutes. Go check it out. You can watch it right here on LinkedIn. You can also catch it on your favorite podcast listening platform, also on our YouTube channel and everywhere else. So please make sure to go there and check it out. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button, smash the like, and so forth. We'll get to some shout outs here in just a moment because we've got a lot of awesome people tuning in this morning. Good morning to David. My second screen is not operating like it should be. So good morning to LinkedIn user 1. Good morning to LinkedIn user 2, David B. and Medina. Good morning to you as well. Thank you all for being here. So before we get into today's show, though, I don't have my standard cup of coffee. It's very, very frustrating, I must admit. So you're going to have to forgive me this morning for not being able to have my espresso. I'll still do an espresso cheers with a coffee cup cheers, because whatever you're drinking, it's got to be good, right? Because it's Monday morning and we need our energy. So I just did not have a chance yet to go grab my cup of Joe this morning. It's been one of those. So let's get into this morning's program with a coffee cup cheers, and let's hit it. So here we go. Microsoft is disabling the MSIX protocol handler following huge malware abuse. So the MSIX protocol handler in Windows, which was essentially temporarily disabled after the Imitat gang abused it over the last 3 months to deploy malware. So a lot of people may not know what MSIX actually is, but it is the Microsoft App Installer Protocol Handler. It was developed specifically for the launch of Windows 10. It's kind of designed to make it so that the device operates much faster, so that the software is loaded much smoother. If you guys remember, turning on a Windows computer years ago, it would take forever. So this was initially made available for modern Windows version, but it's now been backported as far as Windows 7 via the MSIX core. And today, MSIX package files can be installed on all Windows OS versions. Typically, these files are served with extensions like AppX or AppX Bundle, containing all the resources needed to install on any OS version. But when users double-click and execute the file, the OS reads the manifest file and only installs the files needed for their platform. But the MSIX packages files can also be delivered through the internet via a Microsoft App Installer protocol as well. But in late November of 2021, the operators of Imitat have started abusing the MS App Installer links for attacks against enterprise users. The groups began sending emails luring users to malicious sites. These sites would claim to contain important documents that the recipients needed to view, but for which they only needed to install a PDF component. But the link to the PDF was actually an MS App Installer that claimed to install the Adobe Sign file, but in reality installed a version of the bizarre loader malware. The problem with these attacks, and the reason why Microsoft disabled the protocol, was that the Imitat gang found a way to spoof signatures. Microsoft delivered an initial patch for this one, CV 2021-43890, back in December, and even provided group policy-based defenses for those who could not update the attacks, even though they've continued to take place. They've disabled it, but you do have to get this patched, and it's critical, folks. Make sure you get this stuff patched as soon as humanly possible. CISA is now urging organizations to patch exploited Windows vulnerability. So CISA has expanded its list of vulnerabilities known to be exploited to malicious attacks, with recent addressed for the Windows zero-day flaw. Tracked as CV 2022-2188882, the high-severity security hole was fixed in January of this year when Microsoft said it was aware of the limited targeted exploitation attempt. It was identified in the Windows 32.k.sys driver. The issue is described as an elevation of privilege bug that could allow a local authenticated attacker to obtain system or administrative rights. So CISA has added this to the must patch vulnerability log. They just continually are updating this thing. It's really, really effective from a must patch perspective, something to keep in mind as you're kicking off this week and tomorrow's Patch Tuesday. There's a bunch of things going on there. So keep your eyes out for that one. FBI is sharing the Lockbit ransomware technical details and different defense tips. This is a great write-up, but the FBI actually read it yesterday on my flight. So the Lockbit ransomware gang, which has been active since September of 19, when it first launched ransomware as a service with gang representatives prompting the operation, providing support on Russian language sites. 2 years later, Lockbit 2.0 came back as a ransomware as a service, and they've relaunched since then. We now know a lot of their TTPs. So companies asked to report the Lockbit ransomware attacks. While the FBI didn't say what prompted the flash alert, it did ask admins and cybersecurity professionals to share the Lockbit attacks targeting their company's network. And so here's how you defend your network according to the FBI. You require all accounts with password logins to have strong, unique passwords. Okay, this is just a list of the best things to do. All right, let's talk about how do you hinder ransomware operations. Segment networks to prevent the spread of malware. Don't have everything interconnected. Identify, detect, and investigate abnormal activity and potential traversal of the indicated ransomware with a networking monitoring tool. Implement time-based access for accounts set at admin level and higher. Disable command line and scripting activities and permission. Maintain offline backups of data and regularly maintain backup and data restoration. Easier said than done. In a lot of cases, the cost of backups is insane. It can really get really expensive. And I know someone here is going to write me, yeah, but it's also expensive to not have it. Yeah, but how far back do you go? What's that time frame? Ensure all backup data is encrypted, immutable, and covers the entire organizational data infrastructure. Paying ransom is frowned upon. I love this one. So yeah, you guys want to definitely make sure of that. Good morning to Precio Coffee Cup. Cheers, Christoph. Good morning to Paul. Good Monday morning to Mr. McQuiggan and Dennis. Good stuff. Thank you, good sir. Thank you for being here as well. So we'll move on to our next story, where a UN expert says that North Korea has been stealing millions in cyber attacks. Primarily, they are targeting financial institutions and cryptocurrency firms and exchanges. The panel of experts said that according to an unnamed government, North Korean cyber actors stole more than 50 million between 2022 mid-2021 from at least 3 cryptocurrency exchanges in North America, Europe, and Asia, probably reflecting a shift to diversify its cybercrime operation. The North's cyber actors also stole a total of 400 million worth of cryptocurrency through 7 intrusions into cryptocurrency exchanges and investment firms. The cryptocurrency funds stolen by the DPRK, cyber actors go through a careful money laundering process in order to be cashed out, according to these specific experts. A year ago, the panel said North Korea has modernized its nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles by flaunting UN sanctions, using cyber attacks to help finance its program, and it continues to seek material and technology overseas for its arsenal, including in Iran, among others. So North Korea, Iran, China, Russia. You kind of get the drill here, folks. So a huge humanitarian crisis. That's what North Korea has been up to, and something to keep your eyes on. And finally, a storm is brewing around Pegasus in its home country of Israel. And folks, I was on the phone with several people yesterday as this story started breaking, and it is significant. It's now come to light that the Pegasus spyware was used to hack dozens of prominent Israelis' phones, including the son of former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It was also used to spy on activists and senior government officials, according to Kalkalist, the Israeli newspaper. Police Commissioner Kobi Shabtai said that following the recent publications, he's asked Omer Bar-Lev, the public security minister, to launch an external and independent commission of inquiry headed by a judge in order to investigate the extent of the use of Pegasus against the law, meaning no court order or anything like that. Pegasus, which is made by NSO, is now under extensive fire. Prior to Monday's report, the Attorney General, State Comptroller, and the Justice Minister's privacy watchdog have all announced probes into the potential use of Pegasus on Israelis. This includes senior leaders of finance, justice, and communications ministers, mayors, and Ethiopian Israelis who led a protest against alleged police misconduct several years ago in Israel. In addition, revelations set to rock Netanyahu's ongoing corruption trial. Calculist also reported that key witness Ilan Yeshua, former chief executive of the Walla news site, was also a target. And Avner Netanyahu, who is the quiet of the Netanyahu sons, was also there on that. For those who don't know Israeli politics, Benjamin Netanyahu has two sons, one who's a loudmouth and obnoxious and pretentious, and Avner, who's just a sweet little kid. So not a little kid, he's a man, but nonetheless, he is sweet. So these stories continue to create problems for NSO, and now this investigation is bound to bring a lot of heat down on the company. So we'll see what happens. But when one NSO goes down, 5 others pop their heads. So the question is, can we create a playbook and a guidebook of this type of technology? There's no question we need it. The question is, how do we use it, and what's the oversight on it? So with that being said, folks, that's it for our show today. We'll be back with a lot more tomorrow. Again, right here at 9 a.m., please make sure to subscribe, tune in, and check out Know Before for their support of today's show. Till then, have a great rest of your day and stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.